Alright, let's look at the nitty-gritty of the detail here. So basically, this is a disclosure form, okay? So basically, you will disclose your information to the IRS, okay? And remember, it's a like attachment form of your annual tax return. So basically, you add this disclosure, say, hey, I also hold some of the foreign assets, and as a requirement, I need to disclose that while I'm filing the annual tax. So basically, the whole logic work like this, all right? So as I said, this is an evergreen form. It's like haven't been changed for decades. Yeah, so basically, this is not going to index like by the inflation. So every time they're going to like change the amount. So it's fairly easy for you to memorize it. So yeah, as I'm recording this video, it's still this number. Maybe they will get like new legislation to change this number. It doesn't really matter. Okay, as I'm recording this, a big disclosure here, right? Disclaimer also that as I'm recording this, I check. It's not changed. There's like no new legislation out there. So basically, if you're living in US and if you're unmarried or if you're married but you decide to file separately for some reason, so file if specific foreign assets exceed this like a $50,000. Okay, so that's a relatively high amount, and if you don't remember, this is like a foreign asset. Okay, so if you don't hold this much of the foreign assets, it's okay. But if you yeah, you got more than that, that's kind of fishy going on, right? So you need to report that. And of course, or if at any time you are reaching the threshold, you are exceeding the threshold of $75,000. You know what? That's the criteria you're qualified to or qualified or you're required to file that, right? So remember this difference between the 50,000 and 75,000 is that 50,000 is at the year end, okay? 75,000 is that at any time when you like buy and sell and then boom, you reach that asset, you're going to file that, even though maybe you just sold everything, okay? As long as you reach that 75,000, you're going to file. But if at the end is not less than 50,000, or and of course during all this year is less than 50,000, you know what? You're not reaching that threshold. Okay, and of course, if you married and decide to file jointly, and basically just double the threshold. Okay, really simple. So that's really easy to remember. Come on, just a fixed number. Okay, and of course, if you are, you live abroad, right? So basically, you're living abroad, you're expat. So single or separate, as long as asset exceeds the like $200,000 at the year end, or at $300,000 at any time, you're going to file it. Okay, so basically, you can see this legislation why there exists, because come on, if you're living abroad, the expats, you are supposed to hold a little bit of foreign asset. Okay, so they sort of make a little bit higher that criteria when you are living abroad, the expat. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay, you can actually see the reason behind all these legislations and laws. And remember, we also talk about the F bar here, right? Remember, these two are filed separately, okay? Because it's not even handled by the same entity, right? So basically, if you file your Form 8938, this does not waiver your obligation to file this F bar here. So that's the reason I constantly remind my clients to file F bar, because it's a huge gotcha, right? You might think, well, we'll already file this tax form. This is okay for me, but you need to also conform to the F bar, which we also need to file separately, because there is like a FinCEN's online system, not the IRS general IRS return, not tax return. Okay, it's a anti money laundering system. So, but it's relatively easy. You just go to their website and go through all this. But do file correctly. Okay, all this is kind of easy when just the input number. Okay, but as I said countless times, you can do that at that time does not mean that you're doing that correctly, okay? And you can submit that does not mean that you're submitting the correct information without any fine or some penalties, something like that, okay? So yeah, and of course you need to file that on time. So for example, April 15th is for FBAR. So let's go back. We already talked about the FBAR. So yeah, that's the form 89 and 38.